YouTube, Kristen Walter here with the Mountain Dream Team, talking to you today about why people are buying in our second home resort community during the pandemic and during the quarantine. Stay tuned, you're not going to want to miss it. Okay, before we get started, make sure you click the subscribe button below and the like if you like this video, and please don't pay any attention to the sleeping dog in the background if she moves. Okay, so I did another video about why people buy and sell in our market normally. I want to switch it a little bit and tell you why people are buying and selling right now during the pandemic and the quarantine, and what my crystal ball has to say for the future. So statistically, historically, according to Lawrence Yun, the National Association of Realtors chief economist, in Summit County, which is 1 hour west of Denver, 60 miles west, 4 hours during a blizzard if you're lucky, Lawrence Yun says that whatever's happening in Denver 18 months prior happened in San Francisco. And so he's saying that people are moving, or statistically, historically, for whatever reason, whatever's happening in San Francisco a year and a half ago happens in Denver, and then a year and a half later it happens in our county, in Summit County, Colorado, in the rural resort market. So I think that has worked up until now. I don't know if that's going to continue to happen. I can see the data migration happening that way. I'm going to put a link below to a different source about where money comes from and where people go and migration in the United States. But it's a funny thing to think about that because we live in this area that has 5 ski resorts and basically an outdoor playground year round for whatever hobby that you have, that he's somehow making some kind of correlation between California to Denver Metro to us. And that has actually happened. I have noticed that if Denver has a buyer's market, pretty soon it's happening up in Summit. And so right now, as I'm recording this video in March of 2021, Denver is in a hot buyer's market. It's a feeding frenzy. In a buyer's market, there is a definition for it that we have as realtors, means that you look at the inventory of an area and you look at how much time it takes that inventory to sell. And so let's say, for example, you have 10 houses on the market, and it takes those 10 houses 1 month to sell. That means that you're in a seller's market. So 0 to 3 months is a seller's market. 3 to 6 is balanced. And then anything over 6 months is a buyer's market, meaning there's a glut of inventory. So in certain sectors of the market right now in Denver, it's a buyer's market. In our county, it is a buyer's market, so 0 to 3 months of inventory, for anything under $1 million, 1.2 really. So when you're thinking of coming up to the mountains and buying something, you need to remember that we are not a market that's easily understood with regards to it being one thing. And what I mean by that is, because we have a huge county that covers Dillon, Silverthorne, Frisco, Breckenridge, Keystone, and Copper Mountain, those 6 areas are like 6 different towns. Then put another layer of intricacy on it and tell me whether it is a resort property. So is it actually on the resort of Breck or Keystone or Copper? And then, or is it maybe a rural area? So we have areas in our county that don't have cell phone service, that are on a well, that are on septic. Then if you tell me that it's in a resort area, the condo market is going to be different than the single family home market. So in Breckenridge, for example, Main Street Station condo with a commercial space below and the condos above is going to be way different than one of our huge mansions, single family standalone on the slopes. So when you're coming here and you're thinking about why people are purchasing during a pandemic, you have to think about all those things coming together and where are our buyers coming from. So right now in our county, we are seeing a huge influx of buyers from the same places we've always seen them. The Denver Metro Front Range, meaning their I-25 corridor, so I-25 runs north-south through Colorado, all the way from Fort Collins down to Colorado Springs. We get those folks saying they need a second home, they want an escape, or maybe because it's a feeding frenzy right now, they're selling their primary home and they're moving to our market for the first time. We have a ton of primary homeowners that are putting their kids in our schools, remote learning also, and they're living and working from home in our county. We're also getting a huge influx of people from California. We had seen a lot of Californians before, but now they're just leaving in droves and they're coming up to our county. They're skipping the Denver part. So typically we'd get folks, from San Francisco and Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, all the affluent counties coming to Denver for tech jobs or green energy or whatever. And they're saying, oh, well, we got to get a ski condo too. And then they come up and they buy with us. Well, now they're just sort of skipping the Front Range area. So you have this perfect storm of people being able to stay home, work from anywhere, literally anywhere. So as long as they have a Wi-Fi connection, and then their kids are virtual and going to school remotely as well. So you have these folks who are also escaping the disease or the pandemic, and they want to not be in a downtown Denver condo building. They want to be able to be outside in the woods and be outside where it's safe and go hiking and skiing and just do all the things that they can't do maybe in a small city center. So we have a huge influx of these folks right now. We have the smallest amount of inventory that we've ever seen. What I think is going to happen is that at some point we're going to get back to normal. We're going to get back to where people have to go back into the office in the bigger cities where the jobs are. The children are going to want to go back to where their friends are and where the schools are. And people are going to have to report to work. We're going to have to get dressed. We're going to have to show up to the job. And, the poor puppies are going to be left home alone. And I think when that happens, we're going to see our market open up a little bit with more places for sale, because people aren't going to be able to stay and work from our area and go to school from our area if they have to go back to where their regular jobs are. The other driving factor that is the primary driving factor throughout all the years and all the ages in the history of real estate in Colorado and anywhere is the weather. And I'm going to tell you, I grew up in Houston, Texas, in Sugar Land. And I was a city girl. We would go out to the country and go hunting and stuff with Dad and fishing on the Gulf and all that, and at the lake house and stuff. But I never in a million years imagined I would live at 9,000 feet elevation in the mountains where it's dry and snowy. And I never in a million years thought that I would be able to live through 10 straight months of winter. A few years ago, it didn't stop snowing. And we literally had snow for 10 months in a row, and it almost broke me. I think that's what's going to happen with these people coming from more temperate climates. It's one thing to say, let's go on vacation, Let's have someone come plow our driveway. Let's have someone come shovel our walk. Let's go for a cup of coffee. You know, let's enjoy the snow and the novelty of it all. It's another thing to wake up day after day with a frozen ground, below 0 temperatures, your car's not starting, the electricity went out in a storm, the water's out. I mean, to live it every day, to survive a winter is no joke when you're at 9,000 feet of elevation. So I think at some point, once things loosen up and we get the virus under control and people are back to work like normal, I think that we're gonna see an exodus of people who are sick of winter. So that's just my prediction. I know that, you know, I shouldn't be saying that kind of stuff because you want to believe that the mountains are always beautiful and wonderful, and they are if you have a certain thick type of blood for it. If you had told me that statistically a bunch of our people are coming to Colorado from Michigan or Idaho or the cold states, I'd tell you we're gonna be full forever, but that's just not the case. We don't get a lot of buyers from those areas. So hopefully that helps answer your question on what the motivating factors are for buyers coming to our area and what I predict to see in the future. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what I missed. Let me know what you want to see more of. Make sure you click the like button. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Go find me on other places. And hey, if you need a great real estate broker in anywhere in Colorado, especially in the rural and the resort markets, please call me. I'll make sure that we take really good care of you and help you find the best place for you. Thanks for watching. See you in the mountains.